What's up, boys and girls? This is your gamer girl Jessi. Welcome to Before You Play. If you want to play a game but not sure if it's worth playing, or if you want to buy a game but you're not sure if it's worth your money, or if you want to download it but not sure if it's worth your storage space, or if you'd even like it at all, no worries, I am here for you. I will be discussing a game in separate categories, from story to graphics, and sound to controls and fight system, etc. At the end of the video, you can therefore decide whether you want the game or not want the game. Simple. Let's get started. This is Before You Play Dreamfall Chapters. Summary. What is the game about? Shorter version, you will play as both Zoe Castillo and Kian Alvane, both of which has a role in saving the world. Longer version, the game is a story-driven adventure surrounded by choices of consequences, wherein you will play as both Zoe Castillo and Kian Alvane, living in two parallel worlds of cyberpunk city-themed and a medieval fantasy town. Your choices will make an impact to the story as to who lives or who dies. You get the idea. The core mechanic of the game is to make the correct choices to save the world. Each choice or actions may or may not trigger a way to influence your decisions. I would say this is a choices matter kind of game, but I am not certain that there are multiple endings as of yet. I'm only aware that there are multiple paths to take, but not multiple endings. Genre. This game is a story-rich adventure played in single-player mode. They also have an atmospheric vibe with matching great soundtrack in both a fantasy and futuristic sci-fi cyberpunk world. This is played in third-person point of view with a total of 5 episodes containing exploration, walking simulator, and point-and-click features. There is action in the genre, but it does not feel as action as it does when you play Witcher or any RPG game. It is more of you can direct characters to perform actions and such through the choices you make. It counts as a walking simulator since there is a lot of time where you just, do walk, as it is in tandem with the atmospheric theme. Story. Is it clear who you are playing as and what your role is? I will try not to add spoilers in this part of the video for your sake. I would say it is pretty clear who you are playing as, but as to what your role is in the story, then that part is not certain. For spoiler reasons, I will not mention why. I just figured I'd tell you that it is possible to be confused what your goal really is. Zoe Castillo lives in a cyberpunk city. Her occupation in the city would depend entirely on your choices in the first part, but the one I got is working under Mira in Pandemonium. She also helps Baruti with the political campaign of Leia Ominska. Now, Kian Alvane. This one I did not catch on fast. He is an apostle, whatever that does, and he is an Azadi, according to the dialogues and cutscenes. Warning! Please be aware that there might be spoilers ahead. I will try not to spoil the story, but the next couple of sentences will be spoiling Kian's side of the story and his role to the game. Similar to Zoe, you can't relate to the fill-in-the-blank moments and dialogues between characters. In my first gameplay, it would all seem like it is part of the backstory, which I will talk about in detail in the later part of this video. Going back, Kian seems to be a bad person in the past, and yet for some reason the rebels thought it was a good idea to break him out of prison and become their hope of freedom. If you noticed how different their worlds are, then you would be surprised how the writers made it possible to give sense to the plot twist of this game, which I will not talk about here. Are the characters customizable? No, but their appearance and clothing changes when you advance to a new chapter or book. It's all part of the story. Do you play as a character in the story like Joel from The Last of Us, or just a player inserted into the story like Far Cry? Well, you play as the very important characters of the story. Do they have a qualified reason or motive? For Zoe, yes, I understand her side of the story, but for Kian, not so much. How interesting, dull, or lovable were they written? I'm not playing favorites, and I would probably discuss more in the later part of the video to separate spoiler discussion, but I would say Zoe was written okay. She was not very interesting, but I accept her storyline more than I did Kian. There are, however, side characters that I learned to love along the way, like the talky Zidling Enu, or how the friendship of Kian and Liko has been a nice touch in the game. And a special mention for Crow and April Ryan, which again I will not specify more. Dialogue. Ah, yes. Good we have this part. Is there cussing in this game, or is it safe for kids? Yes, there is a dozen ton of cussing in this game. There are characters who would cuss a lot, that in their single sentence they have at least 4 to 6 cuss words in it. From English to foreign words, they have it. So this is a warning that the script is not made for kids. Voice acting. This part I will do my best not to rant. So let's start with lip sync. Lip sync. While the lip sync of this game is not perfect, and the game started with the hand gestures and body movements, I would say that the voice actors did their fair share of effort to bring their characters to life. Each character has a memorable accent that I can't name, but I love it. So back to voice acting. Zoe's voice is really unique, and I think I discussed this in my voice acting journal video. For Kian's though, he's the one who has it really bad. It's like he's trying to sound like Batman, but failed miserably. Much like how the developers are trying to make Geralt sound like another mysterious hero or character who isn't Batman, but it ended up making things worse. That's the kind of vibe Kian gives me whenever I hear him. It's just so bad, didn't help his character's case. So I think Liko and even Ino's voice actor did even a better job than Kian. And let's not get started with Crow. He's by far one of my favorite characters in this game. As long as you don't judge by the lip sync, then this game is all good in that area, because the lip sync does not sync at all. Character design. Like I mentioned earlier, there's no way for you to customize your characters in this game. Zoe will be wearing in her usual clothes as she runs around the city. The only time their clothes and hairstyle will change will depend per book. Kian is shirtless a lot in the beginning. No, I did not fangirl over that, but I thought it's something worth mentioning. There are humans in other races in Kian's world, so we will see Dolmaris and Zidlings, and you can distinguish differences per race and even expand on the lore of the different races. Objectives. How clear is the objective of the mission or quest? Like I said before, this is a mix of walking simulator and point and click kind of game. The missions will depend on puzzles and a lot of walking here and chasing there, stealth missions and figuring out chronological order puzzles and mixing. So yes, the objective is very clear. There are just some missions that are difficult but not impossible. Side quests. Are there side quests that is in the game? Since this is a choices matter game, your choices really matter. So just like Beyond Two Souls, the game will not teach you or remind you to do this or that. It is up to you to remember from previous dialogue or make sense of the scenario. Here's a bonus and also a spoiler. You have a mission to tamper with the pipes in town and you steal a tool for that. You have the choice to return the tool in time or keep it with you as you go on with the mission. There are no pop-ups reminding you or telling you what to do. This is your choice, and in some cases this would even count as a Steam achievement. Pacing. How is the pacing of the game? Just about right. The only thing making things slow is because you are walking a lot, going here and there, and getting lost in the map, etc. But that's all part of the game experience, really. Ending. How is the ending of the game? I'd say I am both shocked and satisfied at the ending. The plot twist was good, and the only thing I didn't like is that some things just did not make any sense. But ignoring those flaws will make this game really good. Does it have multiple endings? Haha, this part, spoiler alert, I've unlocked 2 endings. First is what I like to call a journey cut short ending. Just like Far Cry 5's secret ending, this one's a little bit similar. So when I, as Kian, am instructed to leave the cell to help the rebels, I did not walk out. I ranted why it's my choice not to join the rebels, and then all of a sudden, I unlocked it. An achievement, and that the story ends with letting the world burn to the ground. And the credits roll. Shocker. And the second ending is when I finish the game. There's another branch to take though. Just like Witcher 2 that makes you choose to take the path with Yorveth or Vernon Roach. This time you have the choice to choose what Zoe's career would be. I don't know how that makes a difference to the ending, but I'm sure the game experience would be different in Zoe's scenes. Controls. Is it difficult to use the controls? No, it's very simple. WASD, E to interact, and then mouse button. The only thing that made this game difficult for me is the puzzles. Atmosphere and immersion. Environment. How detailed is the background setting? Is it graphically nice? This is an old game, so the graphics is not as good as the games we know now. But for me, the graphics of this game is way better than the graphics of the first and second parts. You'll know which objects are interactable and you'll know which is just prop. The game provides you with a map to explore in. You're limited from entering the houses, of course. The exploration option is more of just a way for you to enjoy the walking simulator part of the game, but this is not really meant for exploration purposes. Map. How clear is the map to navigate to? The map is in no way helpful for Zoe's part. You need to find a bulletin sort of post where you can ask a cowboy tooting character for help. So the map is not something that you carry around with you, unfortunately. For Kian's part, you have a map and in a way it helps, but in the But in the long run, I don't need the map because I already memorized the place. So no, I don't recommend the use of maps here. You need to find a way to get used to the place so you wouldn't need them at all. Difficulty. How difficult is it overall? Some missions is something you have to discover on your own, use of common sense and enough patience. With that, the game will be fun. Without that, then the game will be very difficult and you might get angry at some point. But when you do figure it out, you might get all, ooh, so that was it. Boss fights. Is it too much to handle? Like I said before, there really is not much for you to rely on action. It's point and click and walking simulator. You have specific controls to do this and that, but it's not like you have a health bar or elemental skills to fight. So I wouldn't worry about the fight scenes. I'm more worried of the missions you gotta do. Price. No, unfortunately, the game is not free to play. The game is $24.99 for the Final Cut edition with all 5 episodes. When I purchased the game at a sale, there was no Final Cut version, and I have to buy the episodes separately. Of course, it's a sale, so I bought all of them at once. And if you want all 3 parts of the game, which includes April Ryan's journey and Zoe Castillo's past, then it would be a total of $43.97. And that, my friend, already has a 20% discount. I'd say the game is not worth the price now, so you better wait for the sale to come. If sale hits, I would recommend it if you are into this kind of game, like this kind of genre, because otherwise you'd think to yourself that you've wasted money. And I'd save you the time. Is there a demo? No. Is it episodic? Yes, there are a total of 5 episodes in this game. For the sake of those who skipped, I will say it again. When I purchased the game at a sale, there was no Final Cut version and I have to buy the episodes separately. Of course, it's a sale, so I bought all of them at once. Sound. How good is the soundtrack of the game? As a lover of game soundtracks, I would say that this game has its pretty good tracks played at the right moments. For the most part, I don't think I notice good tracks as you play the game. But the good tracks is within the cutscenes, so if I were you, I listen to the cutscenes real carefully. Platform. According to my research, this game is playable in Windows, OS X, Linux, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One. I play this in Windows, in my laptop, using Steam. Others. Are there bugs or glitches in the game? Sadly, yes. Sometimes the characters you're looking for are supposed to be there, but not there. But that is so far the only issue I've heard of it. Never experienced it in my own gameplay experience though. The solution was said to be just close and start the game again, and everything goes well. Deleted scenes. In the game I bought, I was able to receive bonus content with concept art and 2 deleted scenes that you can play and even earn achievements when you play it, which I think is great. Gameplay preview. Streets.
The sign reads, Earthrin's Ascent.
Oh goodness. Ha! Runner! Great, now I have to find him again. Let's go. Spear of Gorimon!
No!
Baby crow! Oh my goodness! Crow! Is that a baby crow? Oh my goodness! It's a baby crow! Final thoughts. Replayability. Is it replayable? I think this is worth playing 2 times because there are 2 branches of game experience you can try, but more than that, I wouldn't. So yes, this game has a really good concept if you are looking for a story kind of game, not the action pack kind of content. So that's the part that I really recommend you. And the choices, they only matter for the ending of the characters. Like for example, if this character will live or die because of the choices you made previously. So that's the only thing that will affect your choices. It does not affect the ending as far as I know. That would be all, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, comment. I really appreciate the comments and I reply to them. And as much as possible, I would love it if you would subscribe and share this with your friends. And goodbye.